Hey, where are you going?
I'm going gaming!
Today we're going to look at Fallout 4 VR. Luckily I came prepared. I was able to get my hands on a Vive to test this one out. I know what you were thinking. Isn't VR going to fail all of the accessibility friendliness testing you do? This is what I wanted to see. I really had no idea what options this version of Fallout had to offer, or didn't offer. I had to set up the VR first so that we could start recording. I've never set one of these up, so I had my brother help to make sure we got everything correct for the recording. To save you the hour it took us to get everything correct, I'll just fast forward through this part. Once it was all set up and in place, I couldn't wait to get started with a new save in one of my favorite games ever. I took a look at the menu and the different options the VR version has to offer. There is an RGB color slider to modify the menus if a certain look doesn't work for you. This is only for menus that I noticed, but could be a decent alternative to a colorblind mode, as there aren't any color-based gameplay elements I came across. There is a captioning mode for those that are hard of hearing, so you can read along with the spoken dialogue. Unfortunately, this did not seem to capture sound effects, such as gunshots, explosions, or other environmental noises. However, the compass at the bottom of the screen will show red dots for nearby enemies. I made my new character and tried to get used to the controls I was given. I found out there are no options to change different buttons to do different things like in the normal version of the game. What you are given is what you get. I was able to move around the starting area pretty easily after a few minutes of playing around with it. Someone with limited mobility, such as a person in a wheelchair, would have a very hard time with these controls. There is a lot of moving and ducking around. It was once I got into the combat aspects of the game that I started noticing things that were going to get difficult really fast. Since I can only use one hand, I was put at a disadvantage. I only had one hand to beat the crap out of those rad roaches. Don't get me wrong, I love smacking them in the face in VR, while almost punching my brother's computer in real life. But it was clear the game was designed with two hands in mind. Once I was given a gun, I thought I was home free. Now instead of punching them slowly, I could just shoot once and be done with it. Once again, I was wrong. One of the controllers is for moving and menuing, while the other is for shooting. There is a left-handed mode that lets you swap the function of the controllers, but you still need both of them. This makes it kind of impossible for a person with one usable arm like myself to play effectively. I found myself moving with the left-hand controller and then dropping it to pick up the right-handed controller to shoot. It works for a single rad roach, but when you get to more hectic sections with deathclaws, it probably wouldn't work. I finally got out of Vault 111 and into the real world. Once I got out, I remembered my brother had an Xbox controller hooked up to his computer. I thought, if the controller works, I can still be in VR and be able to control everything as well. This would be awesome. Again, I was wrong. Literally the only thing the controller could do in VR was fire the gun. I couldn't move, I couldn't menu, change direction, nothing. I was stuck in VR with one arm, no control changing allowed. I was really hopeful that Fallout 4 VR would be a great game for all to enjoy, but that simply wasn't the case. If you have some color blindness issues, there are options. If you need help hearing things, there are some alternatives and game mechanics that make it work. But if you are missing limbs, fingers, have mobility issues, or the VR controllers don't work for you, this game is almost impossible to play. If any of these are issues for you, I would strongly suggest sticking with the original version of Fallout 4, especially since the differences between the versions seem to be minimal. Thanks for watching everyone, and as always be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. I'd really like to know what games you guys are wanting to see. Let me know in the comments below.
I want her in my wigwam. She's just the way I want her to be. A million times hotter than TNT. Liada, bum, liada, bum, liada, bum, liada. atom bomb, baby, sweet as a plum, carries more wallop than